Hey, Lovebirds. Today we're discussing the 4 P's of mental health. Please excuse my voice as I am recovering. Nevertheless, we did so much great work in our last video where we discussed the 5 C's of mental health that it was crucial to keep the discussion going. If you haven't seen that video yet, just click the link popping up so you can watch that first and join us again after.
This is another episode of Love's Diary, and I'm antisosurelove, signing on.
Since it is nearing the end of Mental Health Awareness Month, it's only right we discuss the 4 P's of mental health, which are often used in psychological assessments and treatment planning to understand the development and maintenance of mental health issues. It helps to learn these things about ourselves so that we can heal and evolve. We cannot sit in our funk forever. And I'm here to help. So let's grow and evolve together. The first P out of the 4 P's of mental health is predisposing factors, which are long-standing factors that make a person more vulnerable to developing mental health issues. Examples of this are often genetics, which includes family history of depression or anxiety, early life experiences, which includes childhood trauma or neglect, personality traits, which include being highly sensitive or a perfectionist. Predisposing factors is what made you vulnerable. This can be you growing up in a household where your parents or guardians struggled with depression. This can also be you experiencing emotional neglect and was often made to feel like a burden. Or you having a perfectionist streak and tending to internalize your mistakes. These factors can make you more likely to experience mental health challenges like anxiety or depression later in life. When you think of predisposing factors, you often think, what made me vulnerable in the first place? This factor shows up as traits, histories, or experiences that lay the groundwork for mental health struggles. Let's hone in on a few more examples. Growing up in a household where your parents or guardian was emotionally unavailable can cause you to struggle to express your emotions and trust others. Having a family history of bipolar disorder can cause you to feel mood swings more intensely than your peers. Or if you were bullied throughout school, this can cause you to overanalyze social interactions and fear rejection. As an individual, you may not immediately recognize your vulnerabilities, and you may say things like, I've always been this way. I guess I'm just sensitive. I don't like depending on people. Predisposing factors looks like childhood trauma, inherited mental illness, or learned helplessness. And it shows up by avoiding vulnerability, perfectionism, or fear of closeness. Now, the second P out of the 4 P's of mental health is precipitating factors, which is immediate events or stressors that trigger the onset of mental health symptoms. Examples of this can be loss of a loved one, breakup or divorce, job loss or academic failure, sudden trauma like an accident or assault. Precipitating factors is what triggered the issue now. If you recently went through a difficult breakup, or if you lost your job unexpectedly, especially close in time to a breakup. These are sudden, stressful events which can cause underlying vulnerabilities to surface, leading to intense anxiety, sleeplessness, and feelings of hopelessness. Precipitating factors, you often think, what set this off? Mind you, these are recent or current stressors that lead to the onset of mental health symptoms. Let's hone in on a few examples. Experiencing panic attacks after the loss of someone, feeling unmotivated and helpless after job loss, ending a toxic relationship and now feeling lost despite being free from harm. As an individual, you might not be immediately aware of these vulnerabilities and could express them by saying things like, everything just hit me at once. I was doing fine until this happened. That was the last straw. Granted, precipitating factors looks like breakup, job loss, or trauma, and it shows up by sudden anxiety, insomnia, or depressive episodes. Now, Lovebirds, we're doing some great observative work, and I'm really proud of us. Make sure to stay tuned for the last P of mental health, where we can piece all this together. Now, the third P of the 4 Ps of mental health is perpetuating factors, which is ongoing conditions or behaviors that maintain or worsen the mental health issue. Examples of this are lack of social support, negative thinking patterns, substance abuse, or unhealthy environments such as toxic relationships or even poverty. I know this is getting through to someone. Perpetuating factors is what's keeping it going. If you isolate yourself from friends or family and ignore calls and messages, if you spend most of your days overthinking and replaying negative thoughts, or if you avoid applying for new jobs out of fear of rejection and self-doubt, these are ongoing habits and circumstances that are maintaining your depression and preventing you from healing. When you think of perpetuating factors, you often think, what's keeping me stuck? These are habits, thoughts, environments, or circumstances that maintain or worsen the issue. Let's hone in on a few examples of this. If you avoid leaving the house due to social anxiety, which only makes your fear of public places worse, if you're self-medicating your depression with alcohol or any other substance, which is really deepening your isolation and sadness. If you constantly doom scroll social media, feeding your insecurities and feelings of inadequacy. And for those who do not know what doom scrolling is the act of compulsively scrolling through news and social media feeds, particularly those containing distressing or negative content for long periods. All of these examples can keep you stuck or worsen your mental health. With perpetuating factors, you may notice behaviors like withdrawal from others, refusing help or skipping therapy, constant negative self-talk like I'm worthless or no one cares. Mind you, perpetuating factors looks like isolation, substance abuse, or negative self-talk, and you show it by skipping appointments, pushing people away, and staying stuck in cycles. Moving along to the 4th P out of the 4 Ps of mental health, which is personally my favorite because it is the key to maintaining and ultimately breaking the cycles of mental health struggles, and that is protective factors. Protective factors are strengths and supports that help prevent or reduce the impact of mental health challenges. Examples of this can be surrounding yourself with supportive family and friends, gaining and sustaining access to mental health care, developing healthy coping skills such as exercising or journaling, and building and using your resilience and strong self-esteem. Protective factors are what can help you recover. If you have a close family member or true friend who you trust and has offered emotional support, if you have access to therapy, even if it's through your previous employer's mental health benefits, take advantage of that. If you enjoy painting, which may help you relax and process your feelings. If you are open to self-help books and learning about emotional resilience, these resources and personal strengths can help you recover, build self-awareness, and gain control over your mental health. When you think of protective factors, you often think, what's helping me cope or stay strong? Mind you, these are supports, skills, or strengths that help you bounce back or buffer against challenges. A few examples can be journaling every morning and/or attending therapy weekly, helping to build resilience through reflection. If you gain or have a mentor who checks in regularly, reminding you of your value. If you grew up learning how to meditate or even recently started learning to meditate, and using breathing exercises to manage stress. When you have protective factors as an individual, you may seek connection and support. Use healthy coping strategies like exercising, prayer, or art. Saying things like, "It's hard, but I have the tools," or "I know I'm not alone." Mind you, protective factors looks like support networks, coping skills, and a healthy lifestyle. And you can see it by going to therapy, reaching out, and practicing mindfulness or creative outlets. Thank you for listening to the 4 P's of mental health as we near Mental Health Awareness Month. Understanding these 4 P's can help you identify not only the root causes of mental health struggles, but also the best ways to support recovery and promote mental wellness. In conclusion, predisposing factors start the mental health struggles. Precipitating factors trigger the mental health struggles. Perpetuating factors enables, prolongs, and worsens the mental health struggles. But protective factors helps you fight and overcome the mental health struggles. Mind you, it's our job to take care of ourselves first and foremost, and that includes our mental health. And as always, love.
So this is another episode of Love's Diary, and this is Antisocial Love, signing off.